Hello, everybody, and welcome to Week 3 NFL Big Pick 4, the best damn sports picking show on the internet. Where the two gurus on your left, Brian's right, Big B Dan, and on your right, Big. Did I say Big D or Big B? I screwed that up. And Big B Brian will give you the best four picks for tomorrow's Sunday NFL games. That's the format. They have two combined picks followed by the Big D Dan guarantee followed by the Big B Brian guarantee. All right, fellas, any opening comments?
Yeah, I have one. I'm gonna call my brother Scott out. Friday night we were at a karaoke bar. The establishment. The establishment will remain unnamed, but I witnessed my brother selling out and giving a tip, a $4 or $5 tip.
It's called a bribe.
A bribe to get his song sung at the karaoke bar. And I would just like to call him out for giving that tool bag of a DJ $4 or $5 so he could sing Beast of Burden before everybody else. You slimy bastard.
I would like to congratulate you, Scott, on doing that, because this cheap bastard saying
That's
next
right.
to me wouldn't give the guy a bribe to sing his song.
But you shouldn't have to, man. It's karaoke. It's
but
not.
You know this guy from before. He's susceptible to bribes, so you should give him your own bribe.
You cheated.
Good job, Scott.
Let me explain. The only reason I required a bribe was because I had sang earlier song, a duet with Brother Brian. And there's no way in hell I was going to get back up at anyone's rotation after being on stage at karaoke with Brian. That is the only reason I required a bribe. God is my witness, okay? But I did get to sing my song, and the chicks loved it.
It's a shame, what's her name wasn't there to see it.
That's right, Dawn.
Yeah, that's too bad. So I don't have to give my Tyson quote this week because we actually had 2 out of 4 winning picks last week. So we haven't achieved the level where the Tyson quote is required. But just in case some of you weren't here last week for the Tyson quote, this is what I had to play last week.
I wish one of you guys had children so I could kick them in their fucking head or stomp on their testicles so you could feel my pain, because that's the pain I have.
That was the pain I had last week. So we do have, as always, because this is actually a good show, we actually would have a quick wrap-up of last week.
Dan's got to do his vag.
We could do the rehab.
Let's do the wrap-up first. Let's do the wrap-up first, and then we have the vag of the week, okay? All right, can you guys see the wrap-up?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, comment, please.
My only comment was, no, I actually had a couple comments. I guess my first comment was the Washington game we didn't cover. As Dan mentioned, Washington had a couple turnovers in the red zone during the game, which they would have scored and they would have covered. So some sloppiness in the red zone. And my other comment was, Dan actually told me this week, is the guy who caught the ball for the Cowboys, Jesse Holley. He celebrated at like the 2-yard line. He started high stepping and sticking the 10, and he stuck the ball up in the air, and he got dragged down at the 1-yard line. If he hadn't done that and tried to be an idiot, he would have scored, and me and Dan would have won that pick. But the thing that Dan brought up was he cost bettors all over the country $82 million.
$72 million.
72.
His hot dog in it.
His hot dogging cost bettors $72 million.
Because Dallas would have covered the spread if he scored the touchdown, instead of him hot dogging it, raising the football above his head and jumping around and allowing the San Francisco safety to tackle him. Because this guy's not that fast to begin with, and he needed every second of time to get in there. and he completely fouled that up. I would have cut him after that. If I were the coach.
So that's
Yeah, but you guys gotta realize any guy that gets on an NFL team because he won a fantasy show is gonna get
Yeah,
caught.
right. He's not that green.
You know, if there's any green between him and the end zone, he's gonna get caught. And that's basically what
Right.
happened.
But I would like
Yeah.
to say I got my big D guarantee. Tampa came back and covered against Minnesota because Don had a
Congratulations, Dan.
classic non-comebacks in the fourth quarter. And the Houston covered easily over Miami. They won by 13. The spread was only 4, so we did good on those 2 picks.
Yeah, and I just want to. I have one last comment.
Oh, fuck this fucker.
Go ahead. I turned the video off.
I just had one last comment. Me and Dan realized that we have a long mountain to climb here. Where our overall record is 2-6, so it's a long season. That's all I have to say. Is we still have a shot to. I mean, I think our goal was somewhere around 60% for the year. So we're still on our way. We got to make some adjustments. We'll be fine.
You got to get those big B's there, otherwise, there it is, 2-6 overall.
There it is, folks.
Wait a minute, big B's 0-2.
Well to see.
My brother can't count.
You went 0 for 2 there.
Yeah, I'll take 0 for 1 at a
What?
mulligan.
Yeah, right. No one can see the show, so I get a mulligan. You're 0 for 2.
My bad. That should be a 2 there.
No, 1's fine.
You need a telestrator, you just put in the 2. Where's John Madden when you need him?
Yeah. And that won't be the last time that I make a mistake on that. We've experienced this before, folks. Okay, so Dan, let's have the Vag of the Week for week 3.
The Vag of the Week is Jay Cutler. Now, I understand his frustration. He was hit a lot in that game against New Orleans. His offensive line was terrible. They didn't protect him at all. It was really a poor effort all the way around by all 5 guys. He was getting hit from every end, constantly thrown to the turf. But what I don't like is, which doesn't help Cutler, is that he stood on the sideline and threw a tantrum. He was throwing stuff and throwing his helmet and had this look on his face like a 10-year-old boy who had a balloon popped in front of him. He was all upset. You just can't act that way as a professional. Each offensive lineman has some pride. You just do that in the locker room. Get away from the cameras because it gives fair to Fox and whoever does the next game to show that for weeks on end about him jumping up and down and crying.
Yeah, I'm sure he will be on Come On Man.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can't do that to your teammates. It's not fair. I understand what he was coming from. I'm not saying he was wrong, but just his behavior was unreasonable for the situation. I understand him getting mad, but to throw a tantrum and yell at some 10-year-old kid who was his quarterback's coach, who was standing there, looked like he was about to get punched by a bully. That's why he's the Badge of the Week this week.
Ah, good. Well, and he's also competing now against Sanchez and who else for the Vaggie for the 2010
McNabb
season.
was the preseason pick, and then
McNabb, yeah.
And then because he threw the Eagles under the bus, saying they didn't get talent, he was there.
All right.
Making excuses for himself. And then the first week was Sanchez turning his back on his team while they were kicking a field goal and playing defense and not watching like a man. And then this week was Cutler for acting like a 10-year-old instead of behaving like a quarterback, like a leader, doing what he's supposed to do.
So the competition's heating up for this year's first annual Vaggie,
Yes.
which will be presented at the end of the season for our during our Super Bowl show, right, guys?
I'm gonna make a bold prediction. Bold prediction, and I'm gonna say that Jay Cutler's gonna be on there many more times.
Well, it should be determined, folks. You gotta watch every week to find out who it's gonna be. It could be you.
Putting yourself out on a limb there with that one. Okay, so are we ready to roll in to week 3 picks to try to overtake the 2-6? Early. What do you call it? Getting behind the 8 ball early. -2.5.
Okay. All right. Well, Cincinnati.
Okay, go ahead.
They're
Continue.
by 2.5 now. San Francisco's going from West Coast to East Coast. for a 1 p.m. kickoff game. And what's interesting about this is I read that because they play the Eagles next week, they're staying in Youngstown, Ohio over the week so they can stay acclimated to the Eastern time zone. So that'll be interesting next week. But anyway, they've lost 2 straight in Cincinnati. The last visit was in 2003. The 49ers have lost their last 5 road games to AFC opponents. The 49ers have a terrible secondary. They gave up the lead 2 weeks in a row to first Seattle, which is just a dreadful team, and then to the Cowboys, to a guy who has a broken rib and couldn't breathe. And then Jesse Holley beat them, so that's all you really need to know about their secondary. They made Tavares Jackson look like a superstar. Braylon Edwards is out for them, which is going to be a problem. Alex Smith hasn't gotten anything out of Vernon Davis at all. He doesn't get him involved in the offense. Michael Crabtree's slowed down by an injury. Now, granted, while Frank Gore did have a good game against Cincinnati last time, I just think there's too many problems with San Francisco. Now, I do understand that Cincinnati has some issues of its own, where an offensive lineman was at Jerome Simpson's house, who is a receiver for the team. And I believe he got an 8.5-pound package of marijuana delivered to his house. So that could be a minor distraction. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. I like this Dalton guy for Cincinnati, the quarterback. He's played well the first 2 weeks. I believe both on the road. So for those reasons, I'm taking Cincinnati in this game. I believe they will cover. I don't like the 49ers. They're too banged up. Alex Smith is not very good. Cincinnati's playing better. A.J. Green's played really good for them. So I like what's going on there in Cincinnati. I mean, I don't think they're going to have a great season, but for this week, I believe that they have a good chance to cover the spread and win the game.
Okay, good. So week 1 combined pick is in the books. All right. Okay, so moving into combined pick number 2, presented by Big B Bryant.
Well, like my brother said, Carolina is favored by 4.5. It is at Jacksonville. But basically, I didn't do a lot of analyzing on this one. I don't have a lot of stats. This is Dan likes to make fun of me. This is one of my gut picks.
Oh, the gut.
Bringing out the gut. Dan loves it.
The keg.
Dan loves it when I said it's one of my gut picks. I did write a few things down here, and Scott likes my...
I think your gut is full. There's no room for picks in there.
I don't know. It's always expanding. It's like the universe.
I think my brother brought this up before.
The universe.
My brother...
It's like, hey, Brian's gut is like the universe. It is always expanding.
That was a good one. Hey, put some crickets on that one, Scott. Boo! Where's the booze?
Hey, that's the guy in the wheelchair. You know how he talks. He talks like
booze,
that, right?
Yeah, Stephen Hawking.
No. We need some booze.
Yeah, Peter. That was Peter Hawking.
You're off the stage.
Thank you.
I cricketed myself.
My brother brought this up before. When rookie quarterbacks start, I was pretty good last year. My record last year was good when I picked against rookie quarterbacks.
You get proof.
Can I do my picks, asshole? All right, thanks. All right. So
You don't even know who Peter Hawking is.
whatever. Can I fucking no one interrupted Dan, right? So
Because it's not funny to interrupt Dan. It's only funny to interrupt you.
all right. Well, it's gonna make the show go slower. Anyway, Blake Gabbert is starting for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's his first start. It's tough for rookies. Pick up the speed of the game. Their first time. I think Carolina's probably going to blitz. It's always tough on the rookies. Cam Newton has thrown for over 800 yards the last 2 games. I think they're going to be able to throw on Jacksonville. And I also put here that Maurice Jones-Drew is the whole offense. It's kind of tough to win when you have no weapons on offense except your running back. The wide receivers aren't very good. Mercedes Lewis is injured. He's dinged. And the other thing that I think a wild card that people forget anytime Cam Newton's involved is that he can run. I think he's run for 70 yards in both games so far. So he could be a wild card. I just